Coronation Street has aired even more heartbreaking and disturbing scenes involving Sam Blakeman as the teenager's mental health crisis continues to worsen following the exposure and arrest of Megan Walsh. Sam was the first person to uncover the truth about Megan secretly grooming her student, Will Driscoll, and after bravely speaking out about her behavior, he was pressured and intimidated into staying silent. Although Megan has now finally been exposed thanks to Will's official statement, the emotional trauma Sam experienced has caused his mental well-being to deteriorate rapidly. In a recent episode, viewers saw Sam imagining that Will was violently attacking him inside an alleyway, only for the terrifying moment to later be revealed as nothing more than a hallucination created by his distressed mind. Tonight's episode featured 2 additional imaginary scenes that further highlighted just how dangerously overwhelmed Sam has become emotionally. While revising for his upcoming exams at Leanne's flat, Sam suddenly hallucinated that Will had appeared in the room to threaten him once again. In the disturbing vision, the imaginary version of Will warned Sam that he should watch his back because he was coming for him. The frightening encounter left Sam visibly shaken and deeply unsettled. Moments later, when Leanne Battersby returned to the kitchen, Sam nervously asked whether she had heard the door slam. Leanne calmly reassured him that the noise was probably nothing more than the wind, unaware of what Sam had just experienced. Still badly rattled and unable to calm himself, Sam decided to leave and continue revising at the bistro instead, leaving Leanne increasingly worried about his emotional condition. Later, while at the bistro, Nick Tilsley informed Sam and Toyah Battersby that Megan had officially pleaded not guilty and would now face a trial. Trying to comfort him, Toyah gently reassured Sam that no matter what decision he made, it would be completely acceptable, reminding him that he was under no obligation to testify in court if he did not feel able to do so. Terrified and emotionally overwhelmed, Sam placed his headphones back on, only to begin hearing Will's voice inside his head again. In the hallucination, the imaginary Will cruelly undermined Sam's confidence and suggested that even his own family no longer trusted or believed him. The situation became even more upsetting later in the episode when Sam overheard a conversation between Nick and Toyah. In reality, the couple were simply discussing a wine delivery order for the bistro, but Sam's distressed mental state caused him to completely misinterpret their words. Inside his hallucination, Sam imagined Nick and Toyah were secretly talking about him instead, accusing him of being jealous of Will and lying about the entire situation. In Sam's imagined version of the conversation, Toyah claimed that Sam's jealousy explained why he had supposedly fabricated his accusations, while Nick heartbreakingly admitted that he felt ashamed of his son. Watching Nick and Toyah speaking through the bistro's CCTV monitor, a devastated and tearful Sam quietly whispered to himself, "I'm on my own." The emotional scenes have now raised serious concerns about whether Toyah, Nick, and Leanne will recognize just how dangerously unwell Sam has become before his mental health crisis spirals even further out of control. Coronation Street has finally revealed Maggie Driscoll's long-hidden killer secret in an early ITVX release, delivering a devastating shock that tears the entire Driscoll family apart. The explosive revelation unfolds during the continuing fallout from Will Driscoll's traumatic storyline involving Megan Walsh, after the teenager recently reported his abusive former athletics coach to the police. Will had originally been planning to run away with Megan after secretly stealing 2,000 pounds from his father's safe. However, his plans dramatically changed following an emotional conversation with Tim Metcalf, who opened up about his own past experiences of abuse and helped Will realize that he himself had been manipulated and victimized. As a result, Megan was arrested. But tonight's episode reveals that she is still attempting to maintain control over the situation from behind bars. While in prison, Megan contacts Maggie Driscoll and desperately pressures her into convincing Will to withdraw his statement against her. Megan has been secretly using a dark piece of information to manipulate Maggie for some time. She knows that Maggie accidentally caused the death of her husband Alan several years earlier, and she threatens to expose the truth to Ben if Maggie refuses to cooperate with her demands. The blackmail leaves Maggie terrified and emotionally overwhelmed, especially because she knows the revelation could completely destroy her relationship with her family. Her panic intensifies further when Ben receives a phone call from Will's mother, Melanie, who also knows the truth about Alan's death. After the conversation, Ben tells Maggie that the two of them urgently need to talk. Realizing she can no longer keep the secret hidden, Maggie finally confesses everything to Ben, leaving him utterly horrified and emotionally shattered. Ben demands to know why Maggie chose to hide the truth for so many years, and Maggie explains that her youngest son, Finlay, witnessed the fatal struggle on the stairs when Alan died. She further reveals that Finlay later told Melanie what had happened and that Megan eventually overheard the information as well, giving her the opportunity to use Maggie's secret for manipulation and blackmail. Devastated by the revelation, Ben Driscoll later confides in Eva Price and tells her the truth about Alan's death. The fallout is immediate and brutal, with Maggie effectively being cast out and rejected by members of her own family after the shocking confession comes to light. Now that the truth has finally been exposed, major questions remain about what consequences Megan and Melanie could face for emotionally manipulating Maggie and using her tragic secret against her. At the same time, viewers are left wondering whether Maggie will ever manage to rebuild her broken relationships and find her way back into the Driscoll family, or whether this heartbreaking revelation has permanently destroyed her bond with Ben once and for all. Sam Blakeman is set to spiral even further emotionally in upcoming episodes of Coronation Street, as his fears surrounding Megan Walsh's upcoming trial push him dangerously close to breaking point. The troubled teenager will soon become increasingly distressed after convincing himself that nobody around him truly believes or supports him, while his frightening hallucinations continue tightening their grip on his mental health. Over recent weeks, Sam has been struggling severely with his increasingly alarming behavior, causing growing concern among family members and friends who are slowly beginning to realize just how badly he is suffering emotionally and psychologically. Earlier in the week, Sam was left terrified after seeing Will Driscoll at school before later encountering him again at the Red Wreck. During the upsetting confrontation, Will appeared to angrily accuse Sam of ruining his life by exposing his secret relationship with Megan Walsh, leaving Sam panicked and overwhelmed to the point where he smashed his telescope. However, there was one shocking problem with Sam's version of events. Will had never actually been there at all. At the time of the supposed confrontation, Will was in fact traveling to Paris to visit Megan, meaning the entire encounter had only existed inside Sam's mind.